Today I'm going to be doing a review of Mythic Moxie. I'm mainly going to cover cooldown uses and how to play the fight. If you need help with the talents or how to actually execute your rotation, you should check out the guides listed in the description below. And before we start, a couple of things I want to mention about Moxie is that the ideal way to play it for preservation is to work on a 2-minute cycle, so you can stasis every set of mine triggers, which is not ideal because the stasis is a minute and a half, but it's like the best mechanic for you to cover. So that's what you should focus on. Also, the hardest part of the fight by far is the ending. So a lot of cooldown assignments in the fight is about planning your cooldown rushes for the last part and then you sending cooldowns earlier on as they are up. So it's pretty common that you start a fight and you send a bunch of cooldowns that seem like they do nothing or overhealing just to put them on cooldown because you're gonna need them on very specific sets and they're just planned to go on that way. So yeah, let's go on with the fight. At the very start, I open with one temporal anomaly and one manual echo on someone, and then I dream flight over everyone. You're gonna dream flight every time the boss faces from one side to the other because the group is fairly stacked and everyone's taking damage, and it lines up perfectly with dream flight in it. So the reason I open with a temporal anomaly first and a single echo is because I want to use some of my essence to make it start recharging, so that when I come back from the dream flight, I actually use recall there. My essence has recharged, and I can just put 2 more echoes, which gets me to 4 temporal compression stacks, which means my Firebird gets me an essence burst. And also, I temporal anomaly early, so it comes back, and I get 2 temporal anomalies for my lifeline here. So on the Fierce of the Mines, I'm gonna use Emerald Communion. Again, it's not really needed here, it's assigned to use it early because I'm gonna need it at the end. And right after that, I'm going my Fierce Stasis on the bombs. Then the Soak is gonna come down, and I'm gonna release my Stasis on the Soak. This is gonna almost completely overheal and do almost nothing, but there's really not a best place to use it because, as I said, everyone is just sending cooldowns very early on because they just wanted to have them up for the specific points. One thing that I have to do every single time the boss shot someone in this part of the fight is I have to cauterize the tank because it puts a bleed on them and you avoid a lot of damage but cauterize in the tank. And then every time someone gets marked by the frontals, I am using Renewing Blaze and Time Dilation on them. The cooldowns are 1 minute, so I'm gonna have it for every time it happens. And you basically cancel out most of the damage the single person is gonna take, which is really, really good. Then for the face swap, I got my rewind assigned, and I'm just doing a small lifeline with Spirit Bloom, and then I'm sending my rewind. I tried to echo some people that I know are gonna be in the cages, so I can use Burn and Embrace to heal them up right as the cages pop up. And right after, I'm gonna do a smallish ramp because I'm gonna use 2 engulfs while people are clearing the frost boots. So we go inside to bait them, and I lifeline, I use my Dream Breath, and I use my engulfs. This does 2 things. First, I am healing everyone who is taking damage from the frostboot and standing on the fire to clear the debuff. And then engulf, like the healing from Consume Flame, actually goes through the cages. So I'm actually doing some healing on people that are still inside the cages, so helping keep them topped up. We then move to metal side again. And right now I'm just doing nothing, I'm just waiting. Someone's gonna get marked by the frontal. Right there. And I am once again renewing Blaze and DD them. And now I am waiting for the boss to transition, and as soon as he transitions, I'm gonna start my next ramp. So there goes my temporal anomaly. I dream flight over the group, and I start putting echoes on everyone. Using Fire Breath to proc Spark, and I keep spreading echoes. Mines are coming very soon. There's my second temporal anomaly. And right when we hit the first mine, I BE, start my stasis, engulf for the second trigger, engulf for the third trigger. Now, the raid is gonna take damage, but I'm not gonna release my stasis yet because I need another Burden Embrace. I need to Burden Embrace again, so my Dream Bird has Skull of Viscera before I release. Otherwise, I'm losing a lot of healing, so I get the BE, I release to top everyone before the explosion. And then I'm waiting for another B because I'm gonna send one more engulf here. But again, I need to. There we go. I need to buff my Dreambread. Once again, someone's gonna get marked with the frontal, and I time dilation or renew blaze them. And here I start a smallish ramp to help heal the transition, the phase transition into the dirt once again. There we go, Dreambread and my engulf. Now we're gonna get the second set of cages. I once again try to. I get assigned to rescue here. So when you get assigned to rescue, the timing that worked for me was 0.5, like half a second before I just rescue someone. I started to stand in the middle of the cages because sometimes I couldn't notice which cage my starhead was going, and I was missing rescues on the person that went far away. So I just stood in the middle so I could get them regardless of where they go, even if I didn't notice. And if I didn't got assigned a rescue, I was trying to echo people that was going to take damage so I could be them right as the cages went up. But if I did got assigned a rescue, I just focus entirely on the rescue because it's way more important to get the DPS out so they can do damage. So here I'm going to assign the rescue boomwork. I'm going to start right here, and when it hits half a second, I press the rescue and we're fine. And then I start ramping for Emerald Communion. I'm going to Emerald Communion the Frost Shard Boots next. And I needed to get 4 temporal compression stacks there, so my Fire Breath gets me a spark. So I get more echoes for the ramp. Booties are coming. Just my second temporal anomaly. And here I lifeline the AC. I clear my Frost, and I go find my wall. Coming out of this, I accidentally go in the cage. And then one more engulf, which is free. Once again, TD Renew Blaze the target every time. And we're about to phase. And here we go. So the second phase is a little bit interesting because it's not hard, but sometimes people take a lot of damage. But also you cannot really commit high cooldown spells because you're gonna need them as soon as the charges end. So what I do here is I do a very small ramp, covering a little bit of people, so I can use B and a Dreambread because this is very early, so I'm gonna have it back. And then I use an engulf to heal. Here it was mostly overhealing, but usually it helps a little bit. And then use a Fire Breath for damage. See, some people are just taking random damage from the hits. Right. And now, I don't have it on my reminders, but here I'm going to start ramping because I'm going to do a weird little Spirit Bloom ramp, actually. When we finish this spin, I'm going to Dream Flight over everyone. I'm going to Time Spiral. I'm going to Scales. And I'm going to keep ramping. Here goes the last charge. I won one more TA. Here it goes. And CUC rate is kind of low. So here I am using my echoes on Aberdeen Embrace and then TTS in a Spirit Bloom to top everyone up a little bit. Because we're going into another set of mines and we need to be decently healthy. I use my Zephyr here and I prepare my next stasis. Small ramp used to heal people. Stasis, Dreambread, and I start sending engulfs on the mines. I only send the first 2 because I'm not assigned to release my stasis here. I'm actually assigned to rewind. So we're gonna take damage here and I rewind. I don't get Frostboot, which is ideal for me. Small ramp because I am waiting for a Burden Embrace so I can get Call Officer again. Here it goes. And now the cages are gonna come up and I'm releasing the stasis right there to keep everyone top right before the cages show up. Because we need people healthy when they go into the cages. I'm assigned to do in the faraway cage. And this part is a little bit hard and annoying. I have to identify which people are inside the cage with me and keep them alive. My UI is not really set up to be inside the cage, but yeah, it's not hard. I just see who got inside with me and just kill them up, avoid the frontals. Use the defensive when you get out. And this is probably the hardest part of the fight, like doing the cages, getting out, and people not dying. Yeah. So when I get out, I use my Dreambread and I send my 2 charges of engulf because people are low and I want to top the rate. started a small ramp, and then I use the defensives on the person with the frontal. And to be honest, here I started just YOLOing it a little bit because we haven't had a lot of practice in this part. Like, you don't get here a lot. So I'm really just trying to keep people alive, mainly because the boss is low, and what you have to do here is keep people alive past the mines. Like, if you have most of your raid alive hitting the boss and you survive like the mines and moving across the room, the boss is probably dead. So focus it on that. The mines are gonna blow up. Yeah, just trying to use whatever I have at the moment to have people up, right? EC is coming up soon, so I'm just gonna, like, when you see the mines are coming, we're moving. Not a lot of damage right now, but that's fine. And pressure the boots. So this is basically the end of the fight. Like, boss is really low, mines are there, and people are about to get absolutely destroyed by the boots. They're gonna try to clear and send spikes into the mines, but they also have to give damage in the boss because we're about to hit Towering Rage. I'm sending my angles in my stasis, but kind of doing nothing. Like, really, the boss is done by this point, and there's the Hardened Rage cast. Trying to keep people alive. And we kill it just right there. So a couple of things about the fight is that in this very last part, the most important thing is to keep people alive. Like, you might be baited into thinking that doing damage is important, and it is important, especially when you got free time in phase 1 and so to meet the DPS check. But in the end, you're a preservation evoker, you don't really do damage. Like, wasting your global cooldowns sending living flames on the boss does nothing compared to saving people. Like, if you're gonna rescue someone, rescue shield them, or I don't know, life by a potion on one person, even if you keep a DPS alive, that is more damage than you hitting the boss. So you should focus on using everything in your power to keep people alive. And then probably you noticed, but we did the 4 heal strat, and we did one less phase. So we go into the intermission with swapping size one less time. This means there's less damage on the second phase, on the final phase of the fight, but you also have 1 healer less, and because you have to meet the DPS check of facing him there. So this is probably going to be the most popular strat going forward, I assume, because the less HP nerf makes this very doable, very easy. So this is most likely what you're going to be finding when you do the fight yourself. And yeah, that's how you play Mythic Moxie. I hope it was useful to you, and yeah.